Okay, so it says here I'm Doug Williams, Chairman of Buckner Heavy Lift Cranes. Buckner is a heavy lift crawler crane company based out of the U.S. with operations in all 50 states and Canada. Occasionally a few things in Europe, but mainly North America. I'm very happy. First of all, I'm very happy this is working. I'm very happy to have my family here today. It's a special time for us. My daughter, well, first of all, my wife, Claire, my daughter, Meredith, and my daughter, Kathleen, and my son-in-law, Trevor, and my 5-month-old granddaughter, first grandchild, Waverly. So it's nice to have them here today. I'm in my 50th year at Buckner, a family-run company since 1947. I have a lot of appreciation and respect for this industry and the people and the relationships I've made here. In 2026, I plan to end my active 4-paycheck employment in Buckner. I'll continue beyond that as an owner and a board member, but this is a unique opportunity for me to talk about leadership in the way we've done it, and to also begin my exit from the industry, hopefully on a high note today. I do have a few disclaimers to give in advance of the talk. The references I give to Buckner are only to give context, not to boast, or indicate our company is in any way any better than any other company. We all have our own unique stories, as I'm sure your companies do. And also, I will reference the IC 100 crane rankings, as you already did a couple of times today. And I want to point out that in my opinion, rankings are a respected reference point, but they're not an opinion of whether a company is the best or the most accomplished. There's much other ways to measure that than just the size of your crane fleet. I also want to say regarding this that when Buckner's name has come within proximity of some of the largest companies in our industry in this ranking, I'm always aware of our differences and Buckner's clear intention to always be a niche crane, crawler crane company. We are always honored when our crane-only focus puts us in the same room with some of the greatest in the industry. We're also humbled. So, what does a guy with 50 years of service in the industry have to say? Or maybe we'll ask, what do you even want to hear from a guy that's had 50 years in this industry? What was I thinking? You know, it was a long journey to this room today. Starting in the late 70s, early 80s, the days when a 200 to 300 ton crane was a big crane. The days of the fax machine when there was no email. The days before the smartphone, even before the cell phone. The days when cranes had friction brakes and clutches. Don't worry, I'm not going to give stories from the old days. Well, certainly I wasn't thinking about the tech-driven world we live in today. But I was thinking about how much I love the trade, the challenges, and the solutions ahead. I do know I was thinking that I wanted to be in an environment that involved more than just the work or the money. A place of good relationships, trust, and fairness. We choose our joys and sorrows long before we experience them. For most of my 50 years, especially the first 25. A Xerox copy of this was on my bulletin board behind my desk. I feel that it's guided me, and I feel that the first 25 years of my career chose the joys of my second 25 years. In those first 25 years, my trade was as an iron worker. The satisfaction of changing the skyline every day, winning, planning, and building complex structures, arenas, universities, and manufacturing plants. In my second 25 years, where would that satisfaction come from? My story, Buckner's story, is a we story. This might be an odd way to start a presentation, but I've used the analogy of a brick wall many times in my career as I've observed highly respected companies rigidly holding on to their viewpoints, not accepting change, not growing in thought and acceptance, not building a team that was better than themselves, watching them run their companies right into a brick wall. And the company becomes nothing more than a yard full of used equipment to be sold. Dear boy, competition is for losers. Create something so unique they can't compare you to anyone. Build a category of one. Yours sincerely, Grandpa. Well, this is not actually a note from my grandfather, but it could have been. Buckner started as a steel contracting company. My grandfather, my father, and then me. And then my daughter, Meredith. In the 80s and the early 90s, I began developing Buckner Heavy Lift. I paid attention, I remained open to thoughts, and I listened and I learned. I traveled and I met the crane companies of Europe. I started guiding our ship towards a different destination, a destination of our own unique thoughts and approach. Thank you, Grandpa, for the guidance. A category of one. So my second 25 years, I'll attempt to cover in the next 25 minutes. People have said, what a story. How did Buckner do this? Well, I want to say there's also a story behind the story, and I hope that's what I can share with you today. But we'll get to that later. You see, we set out to be different. We set out to be a niche crane company, focusing on crawler cranes, large, heavy lift crawler cranes. But we also decided to be different in our thoughts and our approach to business. I hope in a second this will populate. Yeah, there we go. So, what we're going to focus on today is the second half of my career, 2.5 decades. We were on a journey with a destination of being uniquely in our own niche. But we were in no way, I'll get it in a second, able to comprehend the sights along the way and the true values of the experiences. In 2000, I was 42 years old. As we were starting to build our Liebherr crawler crane fleet, we were also defining who we were and who we would be. In those early days, promoting Liebherr in the U.S. was an uphill battle. The Manitowoc was the norm. The customers would say to us, bring us the red crane. But we stuck in there with Liebherr as a trusted supplier and a valued relationship. This decade was a period when we took a strong position as the leading provider of the larger top-out cranes for the wind industry. The demands of building and maintaining a team for this harsh and demanding environment was nearly insurmountable. Like I said, we choose our joys long before we experience them. By the end of that first decade, we have become recognized as one of the largest owners of Liebherr crawler cranes up through the 800-ton capacity. I could go on and on about the cranes we bought, the risks we took, and the things we accomplished, and the relationships we made along the way. But also, there's a story behind the story that I mentioned earlier. Buckner joined SC&RA in the late 80s. It was time now to get back to the industry. For me, this meant going through the chairs, as it's called. 1999 Crane and Rigging Governing Committee Chair, 2003 through 2004, spent in DC representing SC&RA on the OSHA Crane and Derrick Advisory Committee, rewriting the U.S. crane standards. 2006 to 2008 as president and chairman of SC&RA. During that time, I had a strong focus on expanding the association services and involvement with the international crane community. While doing this, I developed relationships, had learning opportunities, and expanded horizons for me and therefore for Buckner. Meanwhile, in this first decade, we looked inward to improve our processes and procedures, as our growth had certainly put pressure on these structures. We also designed and built an award-winning office building and campus environment. And what I think is interesting about this is that this inspiring environment was built for the people that at that time we had not fully envisioned would join us. Strategic planning sessions were the norm as we charted each year's course well in advance. Whoops. I'm probably going to have to come back because that one's a little out of order. Around the end of this first decade, I wrote a vision, looking 10 years into the future. I'm a big believer in visions, so I'm going to take a moment on this. Imagining the day in 2020, 10 years out, how the air felt, the smells, the sounds, the voices of the people, and the images my eyes took in, allowing this vision to become a living, detailed description of what success looks like at a specific point in the future, written as if it's already happened. This is a true story. If you see it, it will happen. A few excerpts from my vision are: the air was crisp this morning and smelled like spring. I hear laughter from the break room. Can you believe we now have a full-time wellness coach that also stocks the kitchen with healthy fruit and snacks? Systems are in place, yet everyone still has fun. Structured accountability is what allows us to work less, yet accomplish more. Our culture has been enhanced. The new people, which are young, have taken a lead in the company, really made the company their dream place to work, seeing things we long-timers could never have considered. At the same time, the long-timers have guided them. Our lives are so much better because of this unique and varied team. A diverse team of people with a level of achievement and satisfaction that just snowballed. We are a top crane provider. When I say top, I mean preferred, valued. We agreed being the biggest was not our goal. Striving to be the best is just fine. We realized that the complete experience for our customers and employees was what would set us apart. People just wanted to join our team, to be a part of this emotional experience, work hard, do it right, provide solutions, and deliver well beyond expectations. But have fun and live a balanced life. The level of training, the attitude, the enlightened and innovative approach we have could be applied to other industries, other challenges, and our people, systems, and processes would still excel. It's paid off. We have an A-list of customers that we mutually feel in community with. We formed a vision. Next thing we knew, 10 years had passed. If you see it, it will happen. Now, of course, you have to see it, and you have to see to it. I like it here, and I think others do too. We did well. Moving into the 2010s, we grew to encompass the 1,000-ton and 1,500-ton capacity range. The LR 11,000, 1,000-ton crane eventually peaked at 34 units in our fleet. Our procedures, processes, and disciplines improved, becoming a driving force in our success, largely influenced by my daughter joining the company. By the end of this decade, as we reach the biggest year of wind turbine installation, for one 12-month period, Buckner achieved an unthinkable average statistic of a Buckner crane topping out wind turbine installations at a rate of one turbine every 1.5 hours for 24 hours a day for a full 365 days. I'm going to repeat that. Topping out one turbine at an average rate of one every 1.5 hours for 24 hours a day, 365 days. That's roughly 6,000 turbines in 12 months. Yes, systems, processes, procedures, and a team of talented people were critical, not to mention world-class equipment. Let me assure you, these systems were essential. So, Grandpa, we listened. Our category 1, as you advised. I'm going to take a second to back up to the slide that I somehow allowed to become out of order. Well, that's good enough. Weekly town halls became a part of our culture, where we shared our personal daily lives, departmental goals, and achievements and professional growth. Weekly opportunities to challenge us to be different. An example of these presentations would be one shown here, and on the other slide that I can't find, by my daughter Meredith, titled Think Again. This presentation and many others challenged and inspired us to think differently, and it set new thoughts and change, shaking off the we've always done it this way mentality. As envisioned, people joined from many other industries. Our CFO, future CEO, came from a startup tech-driven service provider, bringing his Harvard Business School background and principles. Others followed, more techies, startup energy, more young people, much like the vision described. Our marketing and social media presence grew significantly. Operators and technicians seemed to seek us out just to be part of the buzz. And yes, we did gain that wellness coach with smoothies in the kitchen and afternoon yoga. Our staff became more diverse in all ways. I do want to mention that, again, a little bit out of order, but during these earlier times, we were participating in the crane rankings, but it was not until 2017 that we came into the top 13 that is shown in this chart, and I'll show you more about this later. So, 2020. Facing COVID in 2020 right from the start, with great uncertainty, some projects shutting down, most adding significant restrictions. For a traveling workforce, logistics were very challenging. Many of our field people were concerned for their families and just wanted to go home. I believe in part, our vision helped us overcome some of these obstacles. In a time when profit margins were uncertain, we offered our field employees the pledge that for every man-hour worked in the field, we would contribute $1 per man-hour to their local community needs. And each week, we picked one community that an employee lived in, and that employee personally presented the funds. This gave our front lines a cause for the greater good. While away from their families, they could support the home front. This initiative was successful on two fronts. First, the teams felt seen and appreciated by Buckner and their communities. And secondly, in these challenging times, Buckner experienced in 2020 and 2021, two of our most successful years. During COVID, systems and technology, as defined in our vision, paid off, allowing us shift to remote work for office and support staff. We've embraced this culture and kept this culture, boosting both productivity and a balanced life, just as the vision predicted. These same systems streamlined our achieving ISO 9000 certifications in 3 different categories. Thinking differently was paying off. During this decade, Buckner's fleet grew to include 2 LR 13,000, 3,000-ton crawler cranes, plus an investment in the LRC 7500s, 7,500-ton ring cranes. Now, not anticipated in our vision was the 2021 offering of Buckner to the investment world. This led to a very successful financial transaction with Markel Ventures, buying into a percentage of Buckner at a value well beyond our expectations. Now, 4 years after this transaction, I'm satisfied to see 2025 wrapping up as the biggest year in our company history. So I wanted to take a moment and show you, as we were doing these non-conventional things, focusing on the people, focusing on things that were not necessarily tied to the bottom line. This is how Buckner was moving in the rankings. Again, not the end all to what a good company is, but my point is that by leading our companies in a non-conventional way, we had a good life, a balanced life, and by 2024, we had moved to the number 3 position. This is just a snapshot. I think in 2025, we moved back down, but that's okay. As I said earlier, being the biggest is not our goal. And certainly, as I mentioned earlier, when I look at the other people on this list, I'm honored to even be in the room with them. So, 2.5 decades, that's what we were doing. 25 amazing years. So what made the difference? Sure, we took risks, we bought cranes, we worked for market share, we nurtured relationships, and we built a team that is a category of 1. What was the story behind the story? I believe it's diversity of thought. Let's look at this word diversity. Diversity is the presence of a variety of people with different characteristics, backgrounds, and experiences. The practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social, ethnic backgrounds, genders, and even sexual orientation. Other similar words: distinctness, assortment, mixed, range. All of these words, when applied to thoughts, make me think of options, possibilities, solutions, and creativity. When diversity is applied to people, I think of depth, potential, creatives, innovators, entrepreneurs, problem solvers, and self-motivators. If everyone you have on your team is from the same hometown, they still don't have true diversity. If you want a truly innovative and successful team, you need true cultural diversity. Backgrounds, unique experiences, and varied mindsets. All bring creative thoughts and solutions to a team and a company. Diversity of age. Today's workforce ranges from boomers to Gen Z. Capitalizing on age diversity gives us different life experiences, perspectives, political views, and knowledge. This is a competitive advantage by having representatives from each target customer base on your team. Just as our vision predicted, a nice blend of old school experience with young, energetic talent. In a time when many bemoan our industry as one that is aging out, I'd like to share that the current average age of Buckner's management and leadership is 43 years old. In the middle of the last decade, as we were realizing our vision, this leadership group was closer to 35 years old, excluding, of course, my rather weighty age. You told me to point it towards the back, didn't you? I want you to take just a minute and look at this slide and the next three. Superior woman, superwoman. Really works nice. Studies show female managers are better at engaging with their employees than male managers. Studies find that when women are in the room, smarter decisions are made. This includes the boardroom. This includes the leadership room. Do you remember that brick wall I showed you at the beginning of my talk? Well, I want you to think about these slides. If these slides make any of you feel uneasy, then this is an opportunity to open our minds to a talent source that makes up 50% of our population and has a unique, inborn set of perspectives and strengths that cannot be ignored. Studies show that. Releasing the power of women can expand, enhance, and allow our teams to be superior in all ways. This resource of talent can surpass the traditional and limiting all-male approach. Not women just in traditional roles as tokens, but strong, capable women in all roles, and most importantly, at the leadership and at the board tables. Not doing this, in my opinion, is facing your own brick wall in today's world. During these 25 years at Buckner, we reached the point that 50% of our C-level leadership were women, 30% of our directors, and if you include managers, 25%. All combined, all of them at the manager level or above, about 1/3 of our leadership became women. In my mind, not a high enough number, but not bad for an old school man's only industry. This has been a great part of our success, and I urge you to consider it. Diversity in thought includes surrounding yourself with people that think different from us. People that have talents and potential that are superior to us. If I sum up what has worked for me, what I've been thinking, what in the hell I was thinking, focus on your family. Find a balance. Make it about the people and the culture. Look for your own way to become a category of one. Don't copy some other company. Don't try to do it all or have it all. Involve yourself in things bigger than yourself, like SC&RA and your community. Travel the world and learn from others. Allow your thoughts to be diverse and your energy to be collaborative. Be visionaries. Catch me at a cocktail hour and I'll talk to you for an hour about vision. Be inclusive and accepting. Help others succeed. Think differently. champion diversity. Open your mind, set a course, include as many people from different backgrounds as possible, and accept women as your equals. Stop knowingly or unknowingly perpetuating the patriarchal mindset of our industry. Make a choice, go out kicking and fighting and find your own brick wall, or go out knowing you took your company to a better place that is sustainable for the decades ahead, and take our industry to a better place for the decade ahead. You cannot achieve unconventional results with conventional thinking. Like I said, vision it, see to it, and it will happen. Thank you so much for taking your time and giving me your attention today.
Thanks very much, Doug. Would anyone like to ask a question?
Really don't have to.
Excellent.
Make it easy.
Man, Doug, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so relatable. It's just incredible. I got a lot out of it. Thank you. But the remark I have is your emphasis on diversity is really, in this kind of an industry, I was shocked to see that. I don't know why I was shocked, because it works. I've seen it work 1,000 times. And I've experienced it. So congratulations on the next chapter of your life, and congratulations to your daughter.
It was just, no, that was fantastic. It was only a quick one. How do you get on with women in working roles, so crane operating, rigging, things like that? Do you have any luck there?
Are you asking how women actually in the roles with their hands-on?
Yeah, hands-on roles. How do you guys do with the recruitment of women in hands-on roles?
Going back actually to when I was an iron worker, I remember working next to women in the raising gang or whatever, but it was few and far between, and quite honestly, it still is. I think we've done a much better job recruiting women into management and leadership roles than into those field roles. So, to be quite honest, I don't have a good answer or proper experience with that, but I have the faith that that is also an untapped source, and the women that I work beside in the field held their own. Welders, riggers, they definitely held their own. It just hasn't developed in that manner in our company.
I get it. What do you think the blockers are in the States for that? What do you think? The blockers. What's stopping women doing it?
Well, I think there's really in the field there's a challenge for both genders or all genders to draw people into the field, because the conditions are tough, and so that's happening across both all boards. So if you already have disparate, in one category, I think it just shows up. So I don't know the answer to that, but I definitely cheer for your question, and I hope someone finds it and capitalizes upon it. I've always felt that women might make better crane operators.
We do. Thank you.
Brilliant. I do have a quick question. Just what made you choose large crawler cranes as the thing to go for?
I like them.
Okay.
Again, I think it was a category of one. If you go back to the time that I was starting to pursue large crawler cranes, in the U.S., Essex was a gigantic company, all Manitowoc's and all basically the older technology, which was quite popular then. And as we started seeing the opportunity for the newer technology cranes, and as Essex was going through their own transition, quite with all due respect to Essex, I think some of my communication here, there was a brick wall. There was a family running that there was really no transition to the next generation or to a well-fitted investor or whatever. So it opened up a great opportunity for us, and I like them, I believe in them, and it was what we saw as our niche. For us to have gone and tried to do what all of our respected other competitors were doing, we would have just sliced the pie smaller, and this was an opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.